Hey, it's CR Waters, and this is another episode of Too Beautiful to Be Broken. First, I want to thank everyone who listened last week. I hope you liked the podcast, and anyone who subscribed. I want to put something out there. If someone has something that they want or need to talk about, or if they just have comments, you guys can email me at cr.waters@aol.com or leave a message at 951-208-4709. I will listen to and respond to all questions. However, if you've been sexually assaulted either recently or in the past and are at a bad place and need someone to talk to, I would encourage you to please contact the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 800-656-HOPE or 4673. I would like to read something that I found and I love. It says, "She made broken look beautiful and strong look invincible. She walked with the universe on her shoulders and made it look like a pair of wings," by Ariana Donku. Just kind of keeps me feeling like even with everything that goes on, we can still take the universe by storm and we can still make something of ourselves. This last week I was asked if I could do a show on male sexual assault. So that's what we'll be addressing today. This is a topic that has some things that are not really acceptable for younger listeners. So if you happen to be in a place where you've got your kids or something with you, it might be a good idea to listen later when they're not around. The entire subject of men and any kind of abuse is a touchy topic. Men, for the most part, don't like to be looked at as victims. Realistically, though, none of us like to be looked at as victims. Unfortunately, there seems to be more silence around male sexual assault than female sexual assault. And I think that's partially because there's so many myths surrounding it. All that manages to do, however, is make it harder for men to talk about it or to find support. It also makes it harder for the offender to be prosecuted, because if they won't talk about it, then they're really not going to testify about it. I think men are silent many times because they think that it shows weakness, or if the man is heterosexual, he may fear that his peers are going to think that he's gay now. Someone does not turn gay because of sexual assault. That kind of puts a negative stigma on people in general. So let's first define what sexual assault is. It's an act or an attempted act involving unwanted sexual contact, either forcibly or non-forcibly. So if you'll notice, that does not necessarily involve the actual completion of a sex act. It's just simply unwanted sexual contact. RAINN, which is the Rape, Assault, Incest National Network, says every 107 seconds in the U.S., a sexual assault occurs. Those are completely astounding numbers. 1 in every 33 men will be raped or attempted to be raped in their lifetime. 1 in 5 men will experience some sort of sexual assault, and 16% of those will experience abuse before the age of 18. This is really not acceptable. We need to stop the silence with this generation. I want to talk about some of the myths that I was talking about. One of them is most rapists are strangers. The reality is most rapists are people that we know. As a matter of fact, they may be people in our lives that we trust, that we respect, that we love. So very often they aren't strangers. They're somebody that's around us all the time. Another myth is that rape is about sex. The reality of that is that it's not. It's about control and anger. That's why there's so many extremely violent sexual assaults on people. Another one is that victims of rape deserve to be raped because of something they did to provoke it. The reality is no one deserves to be raped. Just because you dress provocatively to go out, or that you flirt with somebody, or whatever somebody may perceive as inappropriate, does not mean or give the person that you're with permission to do something that you don't want. No means no, period. Another myth is that Men who have been raped are thought to be weak or blamed for their attack because they should have been able to fight them off. The reality of this one is that we don't know what circumstances may surround that, and that's an unfair judgment. We don't know if there was some sort of drug or overpowering that was involved. And if you haven't lived a day in someone's life, you don't have the right to pass judgment on somebody else. Because realistically speaking, if he said no, no still meant no. Another myth that always baffles me is if a man gets an erection, then it isn't rape. That's simply not realistic because that's a physical function of the body that has nothing to do with consent. You can't necessarily control if it happens, because of what's going on. If they didn't consent and they said no, it doesn't matter what their body did or how their body reacted, it's still rape. No matter who we are, if we're men or women or children, no matter who it is, we all deserve to be respected and valued. We'd all deserve to be believed and heard. And I think so much of the time, because of what's gone on in the past, with men having to be so strong and macho and not show weakness, that we've kind of taken away their permission to feel things like this. And they feel like if they bring that to their family or they bring that to the people around them, that they're going to be letting them down. And sadly, they're only letting themselves down, and they're only hurting themselves by not sharing what happened. It does not make you weak or lesser than somebody else to show that you have weaknesses. You don't always have to be strong. Like I was saying last week, our scars are beautiful. They are what makes us who we are. There's no warrior out there that doesn't have scars. So don't be afraid to show what you've been through and stand up and say that it's not okay. I want everyone to know when they listen to Too Beautiful to Be Broken that this is a place of acceptance and love, and that I am here to listen to without judgment anything that anyone has to say. We have to stop being afraid to talk about this stuff. We have to stop being afraid of opening ourselves up and letting other people know. And we have to not be afraid to embrace other people and show them that if they tell us, if they confide in us about something that's happened to them, that we're going to believe them and that we're going to stand behind them and we're not going to leave them alone, that they will always have somebody with them to fight with them through this, and that when they go through the darkness to get to the light on the other side, that every time they turn, we will be there. Because this is not a fight that we can fight alone. Anybody who's been through rape or incest or any kind of sexual assault knows how hard it is to speak up, and knows how hard it is to get through that darkness to the other side. That's why there's so many more attempted suicides and mental health issues and medications and depression and overeating and there's just so many things that people that have been through that deal with, and part of that is because we take it and we lock it inside of ourselves, or we lock it inside of a closet and we don't talk about it. In order for us to be okay, we have to get it out there and we have to be heard. That's one of the biggest problems with being abused, is that the abusers typically take our voices away from us. They tell us that we can't tell someone, that they'll hurt somebody that we love, that we have to remain silent. And if we do that, and we lock our voices up inside of us, and all the hurt and anger, we're the ones in the end that are hurt. And the people in our lives are hurt because they don't ever really truly get to know the depth of who we are. So many of us are filled with so much love and the ability to give, but we never let that out because we're afraid to get hurt again. So I want to make sure that everybody understands, men, women, children, anybody, you need to speak up and be heard. And if nobody else in your family, if nobody around you will listen, you can email me at cr.waters@aol.com, or you can leave me a message at 951-208-4709, and I promise you that I will listen and I will respond, because it's time to stop the silence. Over the next few weeks, I want to get into some stuff about what consent is, what saying no is, how to teach our children this, the definitions of some of this stuff. I know it's kind of boring, but it needs to be done so that we can all understand where to go and how to help if we're in a situation and we see something happening, or if we feel it happening to ourselves, how to turn around and get out of it. RAINN is a great avenue because they've got all kinds of stuff online to look at, and phone numbers to call, and and websites to look at to show you different places that you can go to deal with your specific issues. There's, in your community, there's rape crisis centers, there's the YWCA, YMCA. There are so many different avenues to go to for help. I certainly hope that somebody listening tonight has heard me and feels that they don't need to be silent anymore. I want to end today's show with the same thing I ended it with last week, and that's, I want you to remember to always be true to yourself, always love with your whole heart, and always remember how important family is. Good night, and God bless.